another Sunday morning Samoflange. I'm Matt.
I'm Benjamin. Talking about stuff that stinks.
Well, I said smells, and I thought, you know what, we should change this to top 5 aromas.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Aromas.
Because everyone in the first, they've already thought the word fart, and we haven't even talked in 10 seconds yet.
I thought we said no crossover.
Well, speaking of...
Nothing like smelling your own. Someone else's, that's a totally different thing. You ever smell your own and say, yeah,
Look,
you can smell that and pretend it's
I'm
roast
just going to
beef?
cut you off right now, and I'm not even going to let this conversation go there. Actually, you know what? If you need to get it out of the way, just let it rip. Choice of words intended.
That's awesome.
If you need to do
That's
it,
great.
let's do it right now. And then
I don't.
Maybe later on in the podcast, one of us will smell it, and it'll see.
What smells do... Oh, I'll let you talk about it right now. What aromas can't you stand?
Can't you stand? Are we going to do...
Oh, no. We should do that last, because that may be one of our favorites.
Do we?
Something one person can't stand. No, I'm not talking about farts. I'm talking about, there's certain aromas you're like, ugh. Some people love that you don't like.
No, listen.
We'll talk about that afterwards.
That could be a whole other podcast, bro.
Are you serious?
Oh, yes. Easily.
Wow.
Easily. Now, let me tell you why.
Wow.
And the first thing I wrote down for this episode when you texted the topic to me was, that's really interesting because I have an allergic reaction to a lot of smells.
Oh, shut up.
I get a piercing, splitting headache that is very sharp, really painful, and it's always in one spot in my head. And I always know, I'm like, oh, dang. And then I can just kind of, I didn't realize that I was smelling something or whatever. And then I was like, oh, there it is. And I feel
needle right up here.
It's a needle in the same place.
In the center. Yeah.
And I don't know if it sits right there, but it always feels the same.
I've had that. It's coming from underneath.
Right.
It's poking from out.
It's a tension headache or a migraine headache or something like that.
Sharp.
So, because I used to get headaches a lot. I used to really get headaches a lot.
Well, your mother's perfume. There was a perfume that Mom used to wear every once in a while that gave me that.
Well, there are a lot of them. And then my point is, though, because of that, I could easily flesh out a top 5 anti-smell, whatever.
Shut up, really?
So we should do another one after this and just say
you got to give me a moment because I only had one.
I loved the podcast we did about top 5 pet peeves. That's one of my favorite episodes that we did. And
that was a good one. I thought about another one that I can't remember it now, but I thought today I was training a class. I was like, oh my gosh, that's one of my pet peeves.
Right.
I totally forgot about that.
I think we should revisit that topic, because I think we can do another top 5.
Wow.
And a lot of people that I have sent that episode to, that's their favorite one to hear. We had a good time just recording that.
I always have a good time recording these.
I know. Just, because people can relate to griping about stuff, and especially about griping other people. And I can totally gripe about some aromas.
Yeah,
and whatever word you want to use.
But I want to. But the reason I used aroma, and aromas are more nostalgic for me. This list was what smells do I absolutely love to just send me back?
Is that what happened that made you trigger this topic? Did you have an aroma hit you this week or something?
Well, no, but I was thinking about an aroma that I love to smell, and I can't wait to smell it again. And I was like, but you know what? There's some other good smells I like. And when I was thinking about this stupid idea, I thought, wait a minute, I can turn this stupid random thought into a podcast.
Mm-hmm. And here we are with a little bit of gold dripping from our fingertips.
I hate the smell of pathetic loser.
Smell of weakness.
The smell of weakness. The smell of fear.
Weak Johnny.
Smell of weak sauce. I don't think we'll have any crossover because I
was going to say 0 or 1, but I'll take 1.
You know what? Actually, if you want to take 0, because you should go first this time, I'll take the 1. Because I should have asked you how much to guess because it's your turn to take the first pick on the guesses.
I was like 0.
You'll take 0. Okay, I'll take 1.
There's a difference with top 5 movies or books than something because you've got a very much more limited subset, perhaps, of stuff you can pick from. I can't imagine how we would have any crossover. On that, well, okay, fine. I'll take 0. You
no. You take 0. I'll take 1. We don't have crossover, but you just reminded me of another one that
another what?
Another
topic?
No. I'm knocking off this one.
Another aroma.
Because there's another smell that I love more.
Isn't it funny how the word smell has such a negative connotation? Typically, if you talk about what's that smell, it's almost always something bad. If you say, what is that aroma? First of all, who are you talking to, and why? Why didn't you change that line in the script? Because it's not a word anyone uses.
That's
just
funny.
like that's one of the fellow actors. That's one of the words. If you say, "What is that aroma?" You should put your finger up in the air and tell the director, "I have a question. Can we change this to smell? Because this is a stupid line and no one talks like this."
I know.
Unless it's deliberately character specific. I don't know, but
all right.
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna come. I don't think we have any in common, but my 5 and 4 have the best shot of crossing over with you.
Really?
That's because they're common.
Mine too.
Okay.
And I have an honorable mention, I think. Now, yeah.
I'll have an honorable mention. I'll name
2,
later.
3, 4, 5. All right. Okay. Yeah, I'm good.
But I'm happy with the one you just reminded me of.
Which is?
Not yet. It should be higher, so I ranked it higher.
Oh.
All right. So here we go. Number 5. The beach.
The beach.
The sea
First crossover has happened.
Boom!
I specifically wrote ocean breezes.
That's what I meant.
It's not the beach per se, because the beach stinks a little bit.
Yeah.
But
ocean. I should have said the ocean.
The breeze that comes from the ocean.
Yes.
Yes, absolutely.
What number is this?
My number 2.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, see.
Well, it's my number 3. I'm sorry. It's my number 3.
It could be higher. All of these could be higher on any given day.
Totally.
But I remember, because when I smell the ocean breeze, I think do we equivalent it to vacations? You think is that why we love it so much?
I don't know.
But I like
people who live on the beach not appreciate it, or do they? Because they think I think they do.
Because I had another one that was very similar, and
shout out in the comment section for anybody who lives on a beach.
Yes,
tell us if you get used to it or if you smell it every day and you're like, is this still good?
Yeah.
Or does it change your life every morning when you wake up? Maybe it is vacation for us, though.
See, because at first I said I like fresh air. And that's a smell. Mm-hmm. That's a smell. I like spring cleaning. I like the breeze coming in. But when I thought about that, I said, well, I like ocean breeze, and I don't know if I can count breeze twice. So between the two breezes, the ocean breeze is better.
Right. Like a nice fall crisp breeze has a certain scent to it as well.
I do, but the spring breeze is just so nice.
Right.
But I'll later on I'm going to tell you another smell that's tied in to that.
Okay.
And I thought I know my aromas here, but the thing is, so I'm just going to go with ocean breeze.
I like it.
I love it, and I maybe that's because every time we're at our most relaxed, maybe, or we're having good times, that smell just because a lot of smell is nostalgic. Well, all smells just about are nostalgic. All of these are for me. Good memories. They trigger good memories. They trigger good things. You start thinking like, what's that smell?
I think you're right. What is that? Looking back over it, my entire list is as well.
Crap.
It's all.
Now I'm thinking about another one. I'm gonna make that an honorable mention.
Good memories.
I'm gonna make the other one an honorable mention.
Well, let's have it right now.
No.
Oh, we're going to wait till afterwards.
I'm going to wait because I doubt you'll have it, but I'm going to wait.
All right.
But anyway.
So you've already won the crossover battle here.
Yeah. Well, there were two that had a chance. I mean, a chance. I wasn't sure, but what do you have to say about Ocean Breeze here? Because I feel invigorated by it. I feel relaxed, but that's because I'm on vacation at the same time. I think that's what I equivalent it to.
I think you're probably right with me too. And the last time, because I'm thinking the last time I went to Los Angeles was the last time that I smelled the ocean breeze. So I was staying with a friend in, what was the name of the city? It was right on the ocean either way. You open a window and you could hear the beach and the waves crashing and everything else. And I wasn't necessarily there on a vacation, but I wasn't there to work. I wasn't just living there. I was just visiting. So it was a good trip. So I don't know. You could be right, but same. Like every time I've smelled that, it's been generally relaxed and in a good state of mind. And maybe that's what it is.
Maybe so.
I don't think so. Right. But pirates and sailors and stuff like that, they say when they're out to sea for a while and they get closer to land, then they realize, oh gosh, land really smells terrible. That's how they know they're getting close, because the air gets foul.
That's true.
Prior to Google Maps, when you had to navigate by the stars and stuff like that, whenever sailors were getting closer and closer to land, you could smell it, and it's a terrible smell, especially when you've been out on to sea for a long time, and it's a distinct difference. So anyway,
What about number 5 for you?
Number 5 for me is a bowling alley, and the smell of the the oil that they use on the lanes.
Yes.
To keep the lanes slick. Because, again, nostalgia, I grew up in a bowling alley, essentially. My parents were semi-professional bowlers, basically, and I was in a league, with all the other bowling kids, bowling alley kids. I was a bowling alley rat, and would hang out with a lot of my friends from my childhood were all at the bowling alley. I saw them 2 or 3 times a week when they were at their heyday of different leagues that they were in all in a week. So they'd be up there every Tuesday and Thursday, or every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, depending on however often they did it. And they were really good at it. And so they kept getting all these, 80s patches on their bowling shirts that they had, and everything was matching, and, team sponsorships and all the other silliness that goes along with bowling leagues and everything.
Yeah.
It's great.
Yeah.
And even though Western Lanes, which was the name of the local bowling alley here, has now burned down and gone to dust, sort of thing, we went back to bowling. Drew Brees has opened up an entertainment center here, and you and I went not too long ago. We both
by accident
met up there, on different dates. And
I was embarrassed because I didn't want you to think I was spying on you. I was. Because I was like, oh no. I was like, well, we're going to go and we'll just say hello and then move on.
No. I would have just waved you off and said, hey, man, chill. Go away.
Okay. But I really had a great time.
We came over and invited you if you wanted to join us.
I know, but I wanted to. I was trying to respect your privacy. Look, but the thing is, though, I had a great time that night.
No, I did too. I had a great time. And
I'm glad we did it.
I feel like you should have known this about me already, and if you don't, but you know full well that if I hadn't wanted you to join, I wouldn't have even come over to say hello.
I know. Oh, I know. But at the same time, it's just a matter of respect. I was like, well, I said, I don't want to be like.
No, I appreciate that.
Crashing.
But it was a great time, and I loved it.
It was. I had a fantastic time.
I recently went back with my little sister. And we were finishing each other's sentences because we remembered certain things that would click, and we just knew exactly what the other one was talking about because we both grew up and with that scent. And you don't smell that oil on anything else or anywhere.
No, that's a unique smell.
Unique sort of thing. So
Kim and I finish each other's sandwiches.
Oh boy.
Sorry. Hey, before Frozen, that used to be
Frozen, was a real thing.
No. That was that's a joke that they stole from another TV show, Arrested Development. And they even said that because they were Arrested Development fans, and but now everyone thinks it's a Frozen joke,
right?
Because he and his twin sister.
I've never finished.
We finish each other's, and she goes, "Sandwiches," and he looks at her like she's stupid.
That's exactly what I was going to say.
That's so funny.
That's awesome. What's your number 4?
I'm taking out this one. I'm putting in one I just thought about.
Oh.
It is the musk of an antique store.
The musk of an antique store?
I don't know why, but I love it. It gets me excited of what treasure I may find from my childhood. Our stuff is now antiques now. But, or that your grandmother had, that you remembered. And there's one, and
was it last week we talked about 2 weeks ago we talked about most influential movies, and mine was Indiana Jones. And I get the archaeological dig sort of fascination here with what you're talking about.
Well, with this one, they're like for instance, there's one, my favorite, the best store, antique store, and my wife agrees, is this chain out in Phoenix called Brass Armadillo.
Tell me why in the world I would ever want to go to a place called Brass Armadillo.
It's huge, and
so what?
It's gonna have
Walmart is huge.
It's gonna have something from your childhood that you're just gonna like to look at. You don't need to buy this stuff, but you're like, wow, I remember my grandmother always served us, lemonade from these glasses.
So it's a smorgasbord.
My mom had that candy jar.
Aromas and of nostalgic scents and sights and smells.
Yes, and everything else. I make a regret every time.
Smorgasbord.
Yeah, every time I go to the Brass Armadillo, I always get one thing.
Really?
And the one time,
what was the last thing you got when you went to the Brass Armadillo?
The last thing I got. Did Megan go with me that time? No, she did not. So that means that I bought a Beanie Baby, perhaps, a Beanie Baby bear, one that I did not have for my collection. I was like, oh, look at that, because they're like $1 now. And I was like, okay. So I got two. There were two of them, I think.
Craze?
But,
how much were those back in the day?
Oh, back in the day, probably $20-$50. But, now they're worth nothing, which is great.
Crazy.
But I was collecting them for a little while. But that's probably what I got. Wait. That could have been the year I bought the box of baseball cards for really cheap for my brother.
And was the box of baseball cards worth
87
more?
Tops. No, but it was cheap.
But an 87 Tops baseball card pack has its own nostalgia and worth.
It does. It was so much fun.
That's interesting.
That's probably what I got.
Aroma. That cheap bubble gum that comes in the baseball card packs. That's a specific type of aroma that would be an honorable mention for me. Is opening up a new fresh pack of collectible cards. You know.
Oh my!
Because I mean, what else has that smell?
Hello.
And that was always a fun moment. The anticipation of seeing what baseball cards you were going to get, and of what
sandwiches. Sorry.
Sorry. So yes, antique stores in general.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and a lot of them.
Or
yeah,
especially that one.
Well, especially that one because I can close my eyes and I know when I'm there. You could blindfold me, walk me in, and I'd know what store I was in immediately. But cool. Basically, there's a lot of stores like that. A lot of the musk from an antique store is just
interesting
because Megan started joining me in my quest to look at antique stores and whatnot, and we have lots of worthless junk from it over the years. But at the same time, it was just fun.
Not worthless.
Because she saw a lot of things her great-grandmother had growing up. I saw something. The one thing I probably regret passing up, probably because it was too much, or they wanted way too much for it, but it was a Snoopy and Woodstock glass candy jar. It had a rainbow on it or whatever. And the only reason, I remember my mom had that exact same jar, and that was our candy jar when we were kids.
Cool.
And I was like, because it reminds me of happiness because it had all the candy.
Yeah, there's a lot of good happy on that.
There was a lot of great happy because that was a happy, but it was a bright, colorful, happy candy bowl. But cool. Yeah. Anyway, all right. So that's my new number 4. So go for it.
So you know what dust is essentially made of, right? Like most
dead people.
Most of dust is our own dead skin cells that have flaked off of our bodies.
Yes.
And
it smells great.
When you go into an antique store,
all you're bringing it up is someone's dandruff.
What you really are smelling and that you love so much, and that is number 4 on your top list of smells on the aromas. Aromas.
Dead skin.
In the world is basically other people's dead skin.
Yeah.
Isn't that fascinating?
I'll snort it.
Because, I mean, I don't know. I can't imagine the cleansing and the disinfecting process of
musk.
New items.
Not dust. Musk.
Is musk a sexy word for dead skin cells? Like
there can also be musk from your old grandparents' closet.
I mean, this is true, but you've got a room right over there attached to this room that is like into the attic, and there's a particular attic musk.
There's an attic musk, yeah,
you know, that people have. Okay. I don't know. Maybe I'm not trying to,
You did.
Demean and ruin your musk. But
you did. I just equivalent to dead people.
I want you to think about that the next time you go up into
I smell dead people.
The Walmart of antique stores.
Amazon. The Amazon antique stores. That's what they should put on their sign. Seriously, I can't escape without buying something.
It can't be.
It can't happen. I have so much
your
junk.
Business model off of the most successful business on earth ever. Then I think it.
Have you seen my Ewok cookie jar downstairs at the kitchen?
No, but I need some cookies now.
Brass armadillo. You're welcome. Right. My Mets championship replica ring. But wait, no, we didn't get that. Oh, because it didn't look that good.
But you're still dreaming about it.
I am.
And you know what? It had that
next time. Anyway, what's number 4?
Number 4 is the classic 1, 2. Hang on, 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm gonna move this down because it's gonna be.
Oh, okay. Something's move it down.
Yeah. So number 4 for me is pizza when I'm really hungry. But it smells different. It does. It smells different. I'm telling you, because pizza
is that like cheating because you're salivating too at the same time?
No. I don't think there's any food in particular that has a smell. A lot of you go back.
I mean, that's true.
She's cooking.
That's true.
An old favorite or whatever.
I could put that on my top 5.
Have a lot of what your parents or your childhood's favorite meal from your mom can make it this way, and only she can do it in the way that's perfect. It's just a way that maybe only your dad can barbecue or something this particular way. But a lot of foods will trigger that salivation response, like, gosh, it smells really good. And no matter what, if you're hungry. But pizza in particular, especially Johnny's Pizza, which is a locally owned thing here, or a local thing that we have in North Louisiana.
Megan likes it now.
Oh, my.
Well, she'll eat it now. She would eat it beforehand. Okay. And she loves the salad more. But I think she likes the pizza, too. But go ahead.
So, of all foods, though, that have an aroma, a particular
Johnny's has a unique aroma.
There you go.
You can smell a Johnny's pizza over a different pizza.
Right there.
There you go.
That's exactly right. And because Johnny's has a very particular aroma. And now you've got the whole song going through your head. And When I'm hungry or I've been anticipating it and I'm meeting up, like especially there's a lot of good memories at Johnny's with family gatherings.
Exactly.
I've probably had more of my.
You have more of those than I do because I didn't get to go that many times.
Okay.
The only time I usually got to go was with friends at work. Megan hates it, or Megan has hated up till the last few months.
Right. And so, just that in particular, and I think anytime, even like take Johnny's out of the equation, pizza in general is my most favorite food to smell when I'm hungry. Like it's just magnificent. Maybe some Ninja Turtle reference thrown there, just because of that fascination and love for the Ninja Turtles and like the aroma of pizza.
You're saying before Megan drops the kids, we should all go to Johnny's, skip breakfast and go to Johnny's, or skip lunch and go to Johnny's.
We can put this podcast on pause. And just go right now. We can finish this podcast at Johnny's. If you want to. I mean, we can go right now, okay? Because I'm a little hungry and I'm talking about it.
Do you know, in the history of Samoflange, one episode did take place in a Western Sizzler.
In a Western Sizzling?
Because we were supposed to go to a Western, me, Mikey, and CJ, we're all supposed to travel to Western Sizzler. Mikey and CJ, like punks, backed out.
What?
Megan decided to go with me, and we brought the laptop in the setup, and we went.
Recorded it at Western.
And we recorded it at the Sizzler, and it was majestic.
That was a majestic place when I was a kid, and then when
we had to travel to Monticello, Arkansas.
Yeah, okay. So when I lived in North Dakota, there was a Western Sizzler up there, and my parents came to visit me when I was up in North Dakota, and I took them there. Like I was like, we have to go to the freaking Western Sizzler.
Well, I found out there was one like 2 hours away. I was like, let's do this.
Yeah. But that's great that you brought the podcast.
And we brought the podcast to Sizzler. Well, that was the whole idea. Was do Samoflange at the Sizzler.
Look, I imagine it was.
It's called it's a sizzling Samoflange. Let me tell you,
Samoflange can be any way you like it to be.
That's right. Johnny's Pizza Samoflange. What
your number 2,
3
aroma is. Yes,
this is the one you just mentioned. By accident, you just mentioned the word books. I love the smell of books.
Books in general.
I love the smell of books.
New books, old books.
It doesn't matter. I love opening a book and smelling the pages.
Dead skin cells books.
Is that what they are?
I suppose.
Are you going to tell me the musk from a book is also dead skin? Then fine.
I'll
take it.
Like the paper?
It smells, the paper.
Yeah. Okay.
I just love the smell of the books.
Makes sense.
I love the smell. The library is a little too thick, but I like it. But it's a little too thick.
Question for you.
Yeah.
In Back to the Future Part 2, she talks about dust-resistant paper. This is interesting. It's got a dust cover. That was back before, of course, we had dust-resistant paper.
Right.
What do you think dust-resistant paper smells like? It takes all the musk out of it. That wouldn't be any fun at all. Sorry, go ahead. So, tell me more about the books.
No. You just made me think about that because you mentioned the word books. I was thinking.
But you are a voracious reader.
Yeah. No, I am. But I also love the smell of a book. The paper and everything. I don't. Have you ever flipped the pages and it kind of smells?
Of course.
Yeah, I love that.
Gosh, yes, it's a magnificent
I love it.
smell.
Or you could say ink on a comic book trade paperback or something like that.
Too. Yeah.
Comic books also kind of have their own. It just depends.
Comic books have their own. Newspapers had their own.
Gosh, I do enjoy a newspaper, but it's been years.
Well, we don't pick up the comic strips anymore in the newspaper. But that was a big deal, especially the Sunday comic strips. You know, it had its own scent to it. It was newspaper comic strips, or newspapers in general. They still have that same sort of. But like even when
that's a good one. But I'm gonna
that would be an honorable mention for me. I think is the newspaper one.
I'll put that on my honorable mention too.
But
dang, you're coming up with a lot of good ones here.
I mean, I'm very talented, so
I know.
But so walking into a bookstore though is a very popular one. Like that one, that would even be an honorable mention for me for sure. Like,
I just love that smell.
Regardless,
puts me at ease.
More and more bookstores, unfortunately, are having to, and you know, the more books, the better. Like a library, etc., is better than say a regular bookstore like Books A Million here.
Yeah.
Because unfortunately, more and more bookstores have to venture out in their merchandise offerings because people aren't just buying as many books, and so they have to offer more things to supplement sales, sort of deal. But I think walking into the library and that smell of those books is different from a bookstore.
Yeah,
different. Would you say?
No, I totally agree with you.
Is a Star Wars book different smelling from anything else? It's all the same.
I think paperbacks. Okay. Or paperbacks, hardbacks, and hardbacks. They have a certain smell. To them.
I agree with that.
That's a good one.
Could have been a crossover for sure.
I totally forgot about it until you just said something about books. I don't remember what the sentence was. You said something about books earlier. I was like, oh,
I'm surprised.
Number 3.
Number 3 for me is Ocean Breezes.
Oh, that's right.
Yes.
Number 2, I had. Okay, this is the weird because I like a spring breeze, but I found out that I like the fresh cut grass. I love fresh cut grass.
Really?
I love it. It's my number 2. Could be my number 1. I can easily be swayed to make it number 1. Something about fresh cut grass,
Tell
man.
me more.
I don't know. I can't. After I'm cutting my grass, I feel like crap. But then later on, when I walk back out there I smell, I was like, man, that smells good though.
Wow.
Because I'm hot and I'm dirty and I'm tired. But I love the smell of that fresh cut grass.
Wow.
There's something about it. Also, well, no, that ties into number 1. Huh.
Uh-oh.
These kind of tie in all together.
Should you just continue on for us?
I'll let you go do 2 and then I'll do 1. To be continued.
To be continued.
Yeah.
Man, we're having such good times with this.
Yeah.
That I'm going to have to flip-flop because I opened up. Here's the thing. No. Don't get too excited.
Okay.
Here's what I did. My first thought when I read this podcast's title, pitch.
Yeah.
Was
sandwiches.
The sandwiches. And the second thought was how interesting it is that you brought that up just because I have that allergy that frequently gives me headaches, to things. And so my first thought was, oh man, what about anti-smells, or the opposite of that?
Right.
And so my number 1, I wrote down first. The first thing I wrote down was nothing. I don't want to smell anything. I don't want to. No, I can't. I like.
Is that number 1?
I like not smelling anything. Like that is my number 1. That was the first thing I wrote down. Was nothing. And because I hate smelling most things.
Wow.
And it's rare because
okay. You know what? That's a choice.
Anything, when I smell something in particular, it's always tinged with a little bit of anticipation, or not anticipation, potential stress, danger. Is this going to give me a headache? Like that thought process has to go through my head when I smell something powerful. Like, is this going to trigger something for me that I don't like, or is this going to have to make me screw up my concentration on what I'm working on right now? Because if I smell pizza in the middle of this project I'm working on, I'm screwed. I'm
done.
And that's true. Like if I smell pizza and I'm already hungry and I'm working on like homework or
done,
forget it. I just get up. I don't even try. Don't even try.
No sense fighting it.
No. And so I have ADHD and clinically diagnosed ADHD, which is a huge difference from most people who say they have ADHD.
Right. Exactly.
Or take the medication for it. But I have my work office, which is a home office, but has for the past several years, like 4 years, way before COVID forced everyone else into their home office, is specifically designed to keep distractions away from me so I can get my stuff done. And when I smell something or when I hear something and that, I hear a bloody train go by and just lay on that horn like this guy's never done it in his life, and it just makes me crazy. And that was one of our pet peeves. That was one of my number 1 pet peeves in that podcast was loud noises. That was one of my first things. Because it just throws me off, and that's all I can focus on. And so ADHD is a bit of a misnomer for me, just because for me in particular, if I hear something, smell something, or whatever, my attention all goes to just that one thing, and I get pulled away from everything else. And I just have to. I've learned when I have to just quit when it comes to working on a project, or I have to address this distraction right now because there's no point fighting it, sort of thing. So. That's why I put my number 1 as nothing. Now, I'm going to go ahead and cascade that into my number 2, I suppose, or maybe I'll flip-flop them. That's what I'll do.
All right,
number 1 would probably be different, and so I'm going to...
So 2 is nothing.
So 2 is absolutely nothing.
Okay. Number 1 ties into my first one is a baseball glove. I love baseball.
Very unique. Smell.
Yes.
Aroma.
And it just, because I used to sit in the outfield, smell my glove, that is an aroma, waiting for the pitch to come. Lots of good memories playing baseball. Baseball's obviously my favorite sport too. The grass, that's where the fresh cut grass comes into.
You're right.
So those two kind of combine. And to be fair, I could switch those up to 2 and 1, but and still, well, not today, but I still have my glove. But when Megan and I, before the kids, we used to go out and throw the ball around just in the backyard. And I would just I smelled my glove and just smelled so good.
I like that.
So, yeah.
2 questions I have is the fresh cut grass at a ballpark different from the fresh cut grass in your backyard?
Not to me.
Not to you?
Not to me.
Okay.
Probably is to someone, but not to me.
Second, that's well, maybe not a question, but that's something that if you say the word aroma, I think the first thing that a lot of people would think about is like freshly baked cookies. That would be the first word association.
Honorable mention.
Honorable mention. Freshly baked. That was when I moved.
Out
that
books.
was the one I took down.
Wow.
That was cookies. So.
That's funny. I took down it because when you said books.
Well, really? So we
that
almost
is
had
crazy.
Two crossover.
We almost had 2 crossover. Well, I knew that was one that may happen.
Yes. Yes.
But like pizza,
yes.
You can't when you smell a fresh baked chocolate chip cookie.
That's
you could be as full as anything, but you're going to have one.
Right. And if you're doing the word association game, and if I say aroma, a lot of people might say cookies.
Sandwiches.
Exactly right. I knew we were going to say that together. It's great. Okay. I can breathe. I can be all right. Another one that people might say though, if if you're playing Family Feud, and they say, "Show me aromas," and it would be.
Oh, it'd be number one by far.
But number 2 would likely be a baseball mitt.
Oh, probably so.
Like a lot of people, I think, would say something. Well, that is a very specific, powerful aroma.
Okay, so. Wait, before you get to your number 1, though, are there any other honorable mentions for you? Because that was it from. Okay, I'm done. Go ahead. Shoot with the number 1.
Number 1 is the smell of the theater. And
I know what you mean. Yeah, I should have guessed that of yours.
When I say theater, I mean theatre, not the movie theater.
Yes.
I'm talking about the stage. And there's a difference, and I wrote both an empty stage and during a show. It's 2 different smells. So when you walk out onto an empty stage and there's no one else in the audience, but just the smell of the planks, the wood, and the curtains, and the theater, it's very unique to the theater people too, or to theater. Theater people have their own
you're
aroma,
right. It is.
Those theater people in particular have their own aroma, but the theater in general has a lot of very unique smells, like a bowling alley or a baseball diamond or something like that. But it changes once the house is full. So it's different when you're in there rehearsing and you don't have an audience. But then when everybody's in there at the same time, it's not just the perfumes and the colognes and the people, because no one likes the smell of the people. I take that back. There's a lot of weird fetishes out there. So, I mean, we're just going to leave it at sandwiches.
The president. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, go ahead.
But it's just a different feeling, a different smell, a different atmosphere with the theater when you have a full house too.
Agreed.
And I don't know, maybe it is something with the sweat and pheromones, or I don't know.
Yeah, no.
I don't know.
There is a unique smell to that,
it is very unique.
And that you made a difference between the 2. That's cool because I get that. I don't think anyone would understand that smell unless they did theater,
unless they're a performer of some kind.
But if they have done theater, I think they would put it on their list.
And I think a part of it is not even necessarily theater, but any performance space.
Oh no, I know what you meant. Yeah,
probably triggers a lot of that same feeling for people, because when you're on stage and you've got a ton of people staring at you and you're in a big heightened tension moment,
people who do music recitals,
everything gets enhanced, and including aromas.
Mm-hmm.
So, and the sandwiches are probably better. That's just my thought.
On Saturday
morning,
Samoflange.